In a bold and electrifying move that's reshaping the Middle East's future, President Donald Trump has pledged to completely disarm Hamas, yet he's keeping the details of his plan shrouded in mystery, leaving the world to wonder what truly comes next for Gaza. If you're following the latest developments in this volatile region, you know this ceasefire marks a fragile pause after 2 grueling years of conflict. But the real challenge lies in sustaining peace. But here's where it gets controversial. Trump's evasive answers on how he'll enforce disarmament has sparked heated debates about whether his tough talk translates into real action. Stick with me as we break down the details, and I'll point out the parts most people overlook, like the symbolic nature of international agreements. Let's dive in and unravel this step by step, making sure even newcomers to geopolitics can follow along easily. Just imagine, Trump wrapped up a lightning-fast 12-hour visit to the Middle East on Monday, hailing it as the dawn of a new era for the region. This came as the first stage of a ceasefire he brokered between Israel and Hamas kicked off, with the release of hostages and prisoners creating emotional reunions that touched hearts worldwide. For those unfamiliar, a ceasefire is essentially a temporary halt at the heart of long-term stability is the disarmament of Hamas, a critical element outlined in Trump's 20-point peace plan, though it wasn't directly tackled in the initial ceasefire phase. To clarify for beginners, disarmament means stripping away weapons and military capabilities, ensuring Hamas can't resume attacks. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers pressed Trump on Tuesday at the White House, inquiring about the timeline for Hamas to comply and whether he could assure it would happen. Well, they're going to disarm because they said they were going to do it, Trump replied confidently, and if they don't, we will disarm them. When asked how the U.S. would pull that off, Trump dodged with a mix of bravado and secrecy. I don't have to explain that to you, but if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games, okay? And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them, and it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me? He emphasized that it would occur pretty quickly, describing it as a reasonable period of time. Now, this is the part most people miss. Trump's refusal to share specifics raises eyebrows. Is this just tough negotiating tactics, or does it reveal a lack of concrete strategy? For context, think of it like a parent telling a child to clean their room or else. Without spelling out the consequences, it builds anticipation, but also skepticism. Shifting gears, Trump shifted his focus to rebuilding Gaza, a territory devastated by 2 years of warfare. The United Nations estimates the reconstruction could run up to $70 billion, highlighting the massive scale of destruction. Think bombed-out buildings, shattered infrastructure, and lives turned upside down. Yet Trump offered no detailed blueprint, brushing off specifics on Palestinian statehood or Gaza's governments for future discussions. Well, we're gonna have to see, he said during his flight on Air Force One. I mean, a lot of people like the one-state solution. Some people like the two-state solution. We'll have to see. To explain simply, a one-state solution imagines Israel and Palestine uniting as a single nation with equal rights for all, while a two-state solution envisions 2 separate countries, like dividing a shared apartment into 2 rooms. Trump hinted he'd eventually decide what I think is right, coordinating with allies. When quizzed about the next phase of his peace plan and ongoing talks, he pointed to the lot of power in the group of 20-plus world leaders who met in Egypt on Monday. Those are, really seriously rich countries and they can handle it, he quipped, painting them as capable financiers. Surrounded by representatives from these nations in Sharm el-Sheikh, Trump and the mediators signed a historic memorandum. But, and this is where controversy bubbles up, was it truly groundbreaking or just a feel-good photo op? The document lacked concrete details, offering only vague promises from the U.S., Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar, to chase a comprehensive vision of peace, security, and shared prosperity, based on mutual respect and shared destiny. Notably absent from the signing were Israel and Hamas, underscoring the symbolic rather than binding nature of the agreement. Some critics argue this is a classic Trump move. Big promises, little substance, while supporters see it as strategic diplomacy paving the way for more. It's a polarizing point. Does vagueness allow flexibility, or does it invite backsliding? The day brought heart-wrenching moments, with the last 20 living Israeli hostages reuniting with families and Palestinian prisoners heading back to Gaza. However, tensions flared when Israel accused Hamas of violating the deal by not returning all remains of 4 deceased hostages immediately. In response, the UN reported that Israeli officials halved aid trucks entering Gaza, a stark reminder of how fragile this truce is. When asked if Hamas would uphold its end, Trump responded bluntly, "We'll find out." He also accused Hamas of misleading on the number of dead hostages, labeling it a very tough subject. "I want them back." That's what they said. "I want them back," he insisted about the bodies. As we wrap up, Trump's approach to Middle Eastern peace blends optimism with enigma. But it leaves plenty of room for debate. Is his perhaps violently stance on disarmament a necessary show of strength? Or does it risk escalating tensions further? And what about the one-state versus two-state dilemma? Could it be the overlooked key to lasting peace? For instance, imagine if a one-state model fostered unity, but at the cost of deep-seated grievances. Or conversely, if 2 states provided autonomy but bred new divisions. What do you think? Will Trump's reasonable period lead to disarmament? Or is this just another flash in the pan? Share your views in the comments. Do you agree with his secretive strategy? Or does it worry you? Let's discuss.